Hello.
Hello.
I'm Jenoa.
I'm Mo.
This is The Sex Talk. And I have a question for you. Are you a serial monogamist?
Are you?
Are you? Be honest. How many gaps have you had between your relationships? Do you just go from one person to the next in short order and then be together for long, then break up, new person, break up, new person? Is that your pattern? That's the question. And if that is so, why? Like maybe you even overlap them. I think a lot of people have done that.
Yeah.
Where you sort of cheat on someone or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
or in a whatever way you overlap your relationships, and then you don't have any gap.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you just go from one to the next. So.
Well, I know a lot of people who like to be in relationships, and you know, are more comfortable in relationships, and so when one ends, they're on the lookout for the next one.
Right.
And yeah, they're having their gaps, but they're not happy about the gaps.
Okay.
And I think that's common in our culture and our society. That people do tend, if they're in a long-term relationship, they tend to get into another one. You know, ideally there's some time in between. But I think that as creatures, we are serial monogamists. And that's not to say that we're doing them back to back to back, where we're car jumping. I heard that term of where it's like you're in a car and it's going, and then you jump into the car before, you know, it's like...
You're afraid to walk to the next car, you have to jump, you can't, you just go?
Yeah. So while they're driving, there's no stopping. You're just constantly car jumping.
Yeah, why are you car jumping?
Yeah. So there's,
walk to that car.
There's that kind of serial monogamy, but I think that human nature is serial monogamish too. Like, most people are monogamous, and they'll stay in a relationship for a certain length of time, and then they'll break up, and then they'll get into another monogamous relationship. Yeah.
So if you are a serial monogamist, would it behoove you to take a gap year and work, like, just
Absolutely.
be on your own and do some work?
I absolutely think that taking time between relationships is key. Even if you know that you're going to get into another one because that's who you are, that's what you like, that's how you operate. I mean, we know a lot of people like that as well.
Yeah.
And but take some time in between, you know, see what it at least feels like to be alone, and
yeah, work on some stuff that might have been unearthed by that, or some mourning. Like, I think you need to mourn that relationship.
Yeah.
And
take trips, you know, cultivate.
Do all the things you couldn't do because you had another person to think of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
And get on that path of you.
And then get really clear about what you want next.
Yeah.
Maybe you want something different. Get really clear and make lists of like what you want to do differently for yourself.
I think that when you're car jumping, you don't get an opportunity to take that time for yourself. And so I feel like a lot of people that are car jumping are either afraid of being alone, afraid that they're not going to fit some sort of ideal that they've created in their head, whether it be for a marriage or having children by a certain age, or we have an episode on long-term relationships, stigma, like if you're not in a relationship,
you're a failure.
You're a failure. So I think that there's a lot of that, why people jump from relationship to relationship, but I also agree with you that there's a muscle pattern that gets set in place. It's like you're used to it.
Yeah.
You know, and all of a sudden you don't have someone to share that space with, you know, it's like, oh, you know, how do I fill that space and time, versus someone that's been single for a long time has a hard time being like, oh, I have to let that person in my life now.
I have to share this. And also, I think if you have a fear of being alone, I think really the most healthy thing you can do for yourself is actually just really sit alone in that fear. And what is it really based on? Like, what's really deep in that hole that you're so scared of sitting in by yourself? Because, you know, I feel like we all have a hole that we stuff with drugs or alcohol or people or whatever.
Sex.
I literally have
food.
A hole that I stuff with sex. Anyway, whatever you're into. So, sit in that hole, that dark space of fear, and know that you're not going to die if you face that fear. You are not going to die. You're going to grow, you're going to learn something about yourself, and you're going to become a more whole and complete person if you face that fear. Like, what's really in there that you're car jumping? What's there? And look at you, like, you're beautiful and amazing, and you getting into touch with these kind of patterns is only going to make you more
good alone.
Oh, girl, you look good alone, okay? Know that. You don't look sad or pathetic or lonely. You look great.
You look hot.
You look like you're doing great.
Stand tall.
Yes.
Alone by yourself.
Not lonely, just alone.
Like a tree.
Mm-hmm. A beautiful flowering tree.
Yes.
That's right. Growing, beautiful.
Blossoming.
Mm-hmm. Just like you want to.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we got to say on the sex talk.
Sex talk.